Welcome back, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the stream. We're using the close to the mic e-boy voice again, because I didn't feel like setting up my room treatment. One of these days I gotta figure out an actual permanent solution to the whole... let's also... Why are you screaming? Okay, well, I hope the computer fan in the background isn't too loud. But, so... I made a decision yesterday, and it affects you, so, in fact, I think you guys feature prominently in the plans that I'm making. So I figured I'd take some time, I didn't have a whole lot better to do, to inform you of what's going to happen. So, my life is pretty fucked, and I need to unfuck it. And in order to do that, I need money. And I've realized after some recent experiences that that is the limiting factor on what I can do. Because, I'm going to be honest, if God came down to me, sent an angel down to me, and said, hey, you remember yesterday? Every day of your life from now on is going to be exactly like yesterday. It's going to be about as good. I would just blow my brains out on the spot. I fucking hate my life. I am living through a waking nightmare. So, I have a plan. Doing this is a big part of the plan to address that. But I'm starting to run out of time, to be perfectly frank. So I need money. And right now, my career is completely fucked. I think if you were around in the Peripatia era, you remember how desperate for work I was getting. And while I did eventually find something, it is a hell job that pays just over half of what I should be making. So, a bunch of my homies in the secret right-wing Discord, or not the Discord, it's a group chat, but the right-wing tech group chat, parentheses secret, suggested Gauntlet, and then the left-wing tech group chat also suggested Gauntlet. So apparently this is the going thing. To be honest, this started around the time that I was around the time that I was making those the Peripatia streams, around the time that I was getting into this hell job, and I really considered doing Gauntlet, and I probably would have succeeded. The problem is that I was like, okay, if I do this, I can't apply to jobs. Well, none of my, I wanted to focus on, okay, I'm just going to application max, just go on LinkedIn, apply, because that's what's worked for me before. Well, in retrospect, that was a total waste of time, and I should have just done Gauntlet from the beginning. So, yeah, that's the level of pressure it takes for me to make the right decision, I guess, to do the obvious correct thing. So, yeah. Nowadays, I assume the candidate pool is quite a bit more competitive, so we will have to do a little bit of prep. So let's take a look. So here's the thing. You undergo rigorous training and become an elite AI engineer. Now, I'm pretty damn good at what I do. I think I'm at least in the top 1% of the job market, which, bear in mind, that's 1% counting all the people who can't code, like they can't do FizzBuzz. I think I'm confidently in the top 1%. Fuck, I'm in the top 0.1% if you count them. But I have no way to prove it. So this is what I need. I just need a fucking rubber stamp on my forehead saying, hey, this guy's actually smart. Please give him work. So yeah. If you complete the Gauntlet, you are guaranteed a job offer for at least $200,000 a year. If I add that, see, the thing is, because I think streaming is my number one priority right now, because basically the core of my problems is loneliness. I don't have anywhere to Like, I am still coming to terms with the fact that deep down I am still technically a human being, and humans have a need for social belonging, and I've never experienced that. And I did not realize until very recently that I might even be capable of experiencing that, but I'm beginning to suspect I am. It's just that there is nowhere I can belong, so I need to make a place. And that's what the point of this whole streaming thing is. So this is the top priority, but I need money, and I need my job to stop fucking me over, like the last Jagged Alliance, the last, not the bonus stream, but the one before it, where I was so exhausted that I just couldn't stream. Like, that's not acceptable. I'm pretty sure I lost a core viewer because of that stream. So, in order to further the stream, I need to take resources away from the stream and put them into my fucked mainstream career so that I can get the money to pour back into the stream to buy Google ads and the equipment I'll need for the rebrand, especially when I get the actual like VTuber model. So I had we can take a little look here. Yeah, they're trusted by elite organizations building with AI for AI. So the idea is that they are specifically training you to use AI agent tools for coding. And if you've watched my coding streams, you see how powerful agentic coding is. I didn't really realize that there were people who didn't know how that was. Like, because at my day job, we are not allowed to use AI at all. Despite being an AI engineer, we are not allowed to use AI. So, like, the thing that I was doing that meant that I had to pull an all-nighter and be too exhausted for stream, that would have taken literally 30 minutes. Like 5 minutes to type the command in, not even that, and then maybe half an hour to validate it. And instead it took me fucking 70 hours because I had to do it all by hand. It's fucking stupid. So these guys are the first, I think, school that supposedly actually teaches you AI first development. And I already know how to do that, but I need the credential, and these guys can get me a really solid credential. It's 100% free. They cover hotels, flights, laundry, and food, so it's not like, because I'm also dead broke, I will still need money for my medicine, is the thing that concerns me about doing this. I'll have to figure it out. I might be able to borrow money. I'll have to figure it out, but yeah, and they want 3 years of tech industry experience, which I have 10. So, yeah, there's an FAQ. It's free for challengers. They expect 80 to 100 focused hours weekly, which that's a lot. But honestly, that's about how much I work already, making jack shit. So, employer introductions start around week 6 of the program. Demonstrate skills, projects, and readiness to hiring partners. Meals and housing are provided. So it seems like, if I didn't have debt, which I do, this would, like, everything's covered. I do need to figure out, like, I still need some money, but it helps a lot. Also, I'll have to break my lease. I'll figure it out. And, yeah, you have to, they make you do the CCAT. And you got to get over 40 on the CCAT, which is basically an IQ test. I'm not sure how they're going to get away with that, because that is like, what is it, Griggs versus Power? That like the Supreme Court said IQ tests for hiring are illegal, but okay. So, I've been talking to my Clanka Claude here about a plan to study for this. So he got on a weird diversion. I mentioned that I had self-taught calculus as a kid by doing control theory tasks in Gary's mod. Welcome back, Mr. One. Always good to see you here. I apologize for the no-notice stream. Yeah, sorry. but it was kind of on a whim. But yeah, so I mentioned that I taught myself what little I know of calculus by doing control theory stuff in Gary's mod. Well, for 200, well, I mean, I think if they pay you, it's called a job. um, but yeah, understand. Yeah, I mentioned control theory, so we kind of rabbit holed on that, but I got him back on track. You need to be able to read machine learning papers and understand math quickly, implement standard algorithms fast, understand what's happening when you use PyTorch, Transformers, RL libraries, and move fast on practical builds, the actual Gauntlet curriculum. So, and here's the thing. I've noticed that when I try to do like important self-improvement work, especially when there's really no deliverable that I have to, like, there's no one I have to show this to when it's done. You know, I have 2 weeks to get this done and I got to show it to somebody. When I don't have that, my mind tends to wander. I think about how much my life sucks. My brain is like, hey, why are you trying to focus on these weird symbols on the screen? You need to go out and like get laid. Like go outside and talk to people. Like, brain, there's no people. Like, there's no people to talk to. I understand. I agree. It's just I need to focus on this right now so that I can get money to get medication to not be fat, so that I can so that I can succeed on the fucking apps, because there are no people in real life. So the thing is, when I'm streaming, all of that goes away. You've seen the coding streams. I think it's because my brain is like, oh, there's someone watching me, so I need to prove how much of a hard worker I am and focus. Something about being on stream makes me way better at focusing, and I get more done. So I'm going to integrate the stream into the study plan. We're going to go over that with Claude in a second here. So the revised 10-week plan, they haven't announced when they're going to start taking applications. I also need to cut those ums out of my speech. I need an zapper. I just ummed. Okay. Revised 10-week plan, ruthlessly practical. Phase 1, weeks 1 to 3, math foundations for machine learning papers. Read papers like attention is all you need without bouncing off notation. Week 1, core calculus, just what you need. Because the thing is, I bounced around different schools. I'm basically uneducated. I went to school off and on because just, the circumstances of my childhood. The math education I got was it was so bad that it was honestly worse than nothing. Like, they taught me, and bear in mind, I already knew how to code at this point, but they taught me it's, order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses, then multiplication and division, then addition and subtraction. They taught me, and they tested me on this. Like, if you did it right, you got the answer marked wrong. They taught me in school that it was multiplication, then division, addition, then subtraction. Which, if you know anything about math, those are like the same operation, but that's how it was taught to me. So that's the quality of math education we're talking about here. So what's hilarious is I was literally teaching myself calculus playing and making video games, but I kind of just figured, like, when I was a kid, I thought, oh, there's like computer math and then there's school math, and those are two different things and they don't interrelate, because the quality of education was so poor that if you actually know math, it's like, well, that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about this other thing that they made up. So, yeah, the goal is to be able to read papers like attention is all. The other thing is, I think I have like actual psychological trauma around mathematical notation. Like, because I was like forced, they put me in this special education program where I spent the entire school day in an empty classroom, just staring at these papers And that was actually what led to me making my first suicide attempt, because holy shit, imagine your whole life is an empty classroom and then an empty basement, you know. Who wouldn't? But that, I think that actually fucked me up. Like when I try to look at formal mathematical notation, my eyes just skate off. Like my brain won't let me even look at it, let alone learn how to read it. So we need to get over that. So this is not only education, but not only study, but also exposure therapy. So the goal is to be able to read papers like Attention is All You Need without bouncing off the notation. Week 1, core calculus, just what you need. Stream project, implement gradient descent for real. So gradient descent is I like to say that humans did not make Claude. Humans made an AI called stochastic gradient descent, which we do understand, and stochastic gradient descent made Claude, which we don't understand. So he's talking about learning the mathematics necessary to actually understand and create from scratch stochastic gradient descent. So not missiles, just pure optimization on loss landscapes. Day 1 to 2, single variable optimization. So we're talking about, so this is I think if you took math, no, stop. Why can't you just work? I'm trying to stream here. Okay, if I refresh, does that fix it? Okay, thank you. Okay, now I have to scroll up back up to where I was. Thank you. There we go. So yeah, x to the power of 2. Yeah. X to the power of 2 minus 4x plus 4. I think you can kind of imagine what that function would look like if it was graphed. He wants me to find the minimum of that, which would be the lowest point on a graph. So find the exact lowest number that this function can return. And that might seem like an arbitrary task, but finding the minima of functions is actually the core of how modern AI works. Because you define what you call a loss function, which basically you engineer your loss function so that the more wrong your AI is, the higher the loss function, and then you find the values of the parameters, all the numbers that are inside the AI, that give the lowest value for the how wrong is it function, and that actually creates a working AI if you find those minimum numbers. So the gradient, of course, defines, it's the slope of the line, like how much down does it go for every left it goes. I'm not sure if that's a good explanation. That's the gradient. And so if you say, okay, x is your left to right position, you say the gradient, okay, at this x, let's say we just start with a random x. We say x equals 5. Okay, what's the gradient at 5? Well, the gradient is 0.2. So that means that if I increase x, f will go up. So I need to decrease x. And if I decrease x a little bit and then I check gradient again and I move x a little bit more, eventually x ends up at that minimum. I hope that makes sense. That's what gradient descent is. So I'm not sure how in this plan that I'm going to be learning the notation, especially because Claude, as you can see, is having trouble displaying mathematical notation. So we'll kind of have to... I'm just winging this. I've done some planning here, but I think I've done all the planning that is valuable to do. So from here, I think we're just going to kind of figure it out as we go along. There is also learning how to learn. That is also something I need to do. So yeah, so he wants to spend the first 2 days, I guess, just kind of boning up on the basic calculus. Then we start working on multivariable calculus, which I have, I know nothing about that. I kind of understand this. I do understand this. I have no idea how you do this shit. So we're going to have to learn that. This is the math behind all AI training. Week 6, fine-tuning. Week 10, reinforcement learning. It's all gradient descent on loss functions. This is the foundation of modern AI. Week 2, linear algebra. Why embeddings work. Vectors and dot products. So yeah, so this is another foundation of retrieval augmented generation, which is vector search. So, and I actually submitted a collab request to Kirsha, and she kind of, like, her team just didn't read it. But we were going to talk about this because there was this thing called Word2Vec way back in the day, and that is, Word2Vec is like the great-great-great-grandpa of all these modern AIs like Claude and ChatGPT. What that could do is it turns words or phrases into vectors that look like these, like king equals 0.5, 0.8, 0.1. These are like 500 numbers long. That's called a vector. And the thing is, if you take, like, king minus queen equals man, or king plus woman equals queen, this actually works. And the thing is, this is also the root of communist infiltration of AI, because if you took doctor plus woman, what does that give you? Doctor plus woman equals nurse. Uh-oh, you can't say that. Or the funniest one was feminist minus woman equals conservative. Oh, you can't say that. So that is where the, there's AI safety and then there's AI safety. I'm doing air quotes. That is the origin of AI safety. If you remember fucking Timnit Gebru, that shit. The thing is, this is not like an idle, this is not me being a fucking crotchety asshole. Every machine learning course has a section, like a week, where they just sit you down, interrupt the coursework, and just start spoon-feeding you this commie bullshit. All coming from Google's work with fucking Word2Vec. And the fact that, Word2Vec couldn't hide its power level. So yeah, move to dense embeddings. Why does king minus man plus woman equal queen? Work through the actual math. Day 3 to 5, matrix multiplication. This is one of those, didn't go to high school misses here. I don't actually know how to do matrix multiplication, which again, all AI is matrix multiplication, so I need to fucking learn that. So yeah, we're going to take the time to learn that. Excuse me, I'm running my broiler in my oven, and I think the water under it just went dry. Okay, I don't know how much of that you heard. Oh, well, I'll see you when you come back. Yeah, I don't, when you said the actual math for that, Omega Lol, I don't, like, scrolling back up, this here actually works. You can, like, there are rules for how to add and subtract vectors. You can actually subtract, king minus man equals queen. You can actually do that math and actually get that answer. It's crazy. Sorry, now I'm out of breath because I ran across the room. Okay. So yeah, learn notation. Is that the notation for vector? I've never seen that. I do know dot product, magnitude, norm. I do know that one. Weight matrix. Don't know that one. Yeah, so there's a bunch of just foundational stuff that I got to learn because I never got taught because I'm not educated. I just fucking downloaded an IDE and figured all this shit out, which You know, I can actually do it. I can do the work. It's just there's these weird gaps that make me look stupid, you know? And then now that I understand all that, I can read Attention is All You Need. Attention is All You Need is one of the, again, foundational papers of modern AI. It was the first breakthrough. Attention is All You Need, I think, is the paper that defined the transformer, which is the architecture of all these AIs. And you said you make AI sound easy. That's the thing, is that the algorithms behind modern AI are incredibly simple. Like, it really is that simple. It's just the volume of data and the amount of, like, you have to do. Like, to make something like Claude, you have to do this trillions upon trillions upon trillions upon trillions of times over, I think it is like hundreds of billions of gigabytes of words. But it works. And it really is that simple. It's just expensive to actually do it. And then, it's not actually that simple, because once you have those simple foundations, then there's all the details, you know? It's like building a building. Well, you put up 4 walls and then a roof. And then if you want a floor, you can add a floor. Easy to say, but then you go and actually do it, you know? So yeah. Attention is all you need. You'll understand QK caret T matrix what does that mean? You'll understand why it's divided by the root of DK. What does that mean? You'll understand the softmax makes it I don't know what any of this means. I know what a softmax is, but aside from that, yeah. So yeah, connection and gauntlet, week 2, RAG embeddings, week 4, agents, week 8, multimodal. That's the other thing. I do really want to understand how multimodal AI works, because I actually kind of like how Claude sees pictures. I don't really understand that. I get the basics of it. They're converting images into tokens, and then the multimodal output on GPT-5, it's getting those tokens back, except it's kind of not, because there's other stuff. I don't know. But backprop, the only algorithm that matters. Stream project, train a neural network without PyTorch. I actually did this like 5 years ago now on my own. I didn't really finish it. I got a couple of the numbers out of MNIST. MNIST is, I can just look it up. I can just show you, easier just to show you. MNIST numbers. It's kind of the hello world of AI. Yeah. Oh, here, Yann LeCun. Okay, never mind. What? Oh, his website's down. That's really sad. But yeah, the MNIST database is this thing from, I think it's from like the 30s or the 50s. But it's a database of handwritten numbers. These grayscale images, super low resolution of handwritten numbers. And so that is like, when you're doing AI, that's the first thing they teach you how to do, is to recognize handwritten numbers based on the MNIST database, which I have done, but I'll have to do it again to really understand what's going on. Also, I did have a little trouble really understanding how the AutoGrad works. So when we're doing AI in the real world, we usually, I don't think, don't manually define our gradient functions like this. We use a thing called AutoGrad, which it tracks the operations you do to a number, and then from that, it's called the chain rule, because there's a way you can combine the derivatives of things, and that, like, AutoGrad is a thing that we use to tell you do some math on a number, and then not only can you do the math on the number, you can do the calculus to tell how does the number change as I change the input numbers, and it does that automatically, hence AutoGrad. So I want to really understand that. Okay, yeah, train MNIST, use your backprop implementation. Compare to PyTorch, should get similar results. Now you understand what PyTorch AutoGrad is doing. Now lead deep, just read a book. Okay. Deep Learning Goodfellow. Deep Learning Goodfellow. Oh, there it is. Ian Goodfellow's Deep Learning. Oh, I've seen this, yeah. So he wants me to go through this. Can I get a PDF of this book? No. Our contract with MIT Press forbids distribution of easily copied electronic formats. But it's in HTML. This format is a sort of weak DRM. Huh, okay. Do what you gotta do. I appreciate it being up for free. It's amazing how much incredible stuff is up just for free on the internet. Like there's no excuse to be poor. I mean, there is, because people are born with different capabilities. But man, like, you can just get on the internet and figure shit out if you have the motivation. I guess you kind of gotta either be born with or inculcated with the motivation, the knowledge that you can self-improve. But if you have it, you can get on the internet and you can just get these free resources and learn. And then you got to prove you have the skills, which is the hard part, which is the part I fail at too. But yeah, you'll understand computational graphs. You'll understand why GPUs help. I do know that one. I at least know that. You'll understand why deeper networks are harder to train. I also know that one, but connection again in week 6. Fine-tuning is just backprop with your data. RL policy gradients are backprop through rewards. And then phase 2 is just leak code grinding plus reinforcement learning basics. So yeah, I guess they're going to have some leak code problems. Leak code is this, everyone in the tech industry knows it's this website that gives you basically little programming puzzles. People use it for hiring because people apply to programming jobs who don't know how to program. And hiring managers have to filter them out somehow. So one of the ways they do that is they say, hey, solve some of these problems on leak code. The problem is that leak code puzzles don't actually have anything to do with what you do day to day as a programmer. Like, you kind of have to be, like, being a good programmer does make you a little bit better at doing leak code. But you do have to if you want to get good at leak code, you have to sit down and get good at leak code. And the other thing is, you can get good at leak code without actually knowing how to code at all. So it's not a perfect solution, but it is kind of the best solution we found. So yeah, I guess Gauntlet is going to have... where does it say that they do leak code style stuff? Boo-ba-doo-boo-boo. Train... Book a call? Oh, this is corporate training. Think you have what it takes? Yes, I obviously do. But how do I prove it? When does it say? Eligible to work in the U.S. I'm a citizen. 3 or more years, yeah. 40 or above on the CCAT. I'm going to do a CCAT practice test at the end of the stream. Pass the Gauntlet coding exam, so... I think Claude is kind of guessing that the coding exam is going to be a leak code style thing. In fact, I should ask my homies in the right-wing Discord or the left-wing Discord about what the technical exam was like. I think I'll probably smoke it even with no prep, but there's $200,000. Like, my future is on the line here, so I need to practice. You need to pass. You need to pass the technical exam. This is the gate. Week 4 to 5, leak code patterns, and also the point of all that is I fucking suck at leak code. I hate it. I hate puzzles. I don't like puzzles. I like problems. I like solving real world problems. I hate puzzles. And leak code is puzzles, not problems. So I gotta get because I had an interview back when I was right before I started streaming. I had an interview with Meta, which would have been like a $450,000 a year job. And I totally blew it because they gave me some puzzles and I did a shit job. And before that, I was like, well, I don't need to do like leak code. I'm just not good at puzzles. And then after that experience, I was like, you know what? If being good at puzzles is the difference between a life worth living and blowing my brains out when I turn 35, I can just get good at puzzles. Like, you can get good at puzzles. So yeah, that's the other thing I got to do is get good at puzzles, because being good at puzzles matters in this industry. So yeah, week 4 to 5, leak code pattern, stream format, 5 problems in 25 minutes. So yeah, I'm going to become a fucking leak code streamer for a little bit. Sorry, I'm sure that's not what the Jagged Alliance 2 audience want to see, but that's what I got to do. And if I stream it, I got to stream it to actually do it, But by the way, I won't be, like, my gaming streams will be my breaks. So the gaming streams will be, maybe not unaffected, because I'll probably be more tired, but they will still happen on schedule. But I will also be doing all this. So stream format, 5 problems in 25 minutes, focused on high-frequency patterns, 2 pointers, sliding window, hash maps, DFS, BFS, dynamic programming, binary search, daily targets, 5 problems timed on stream, 5 minutes per problem, 3 submission attempts max. If you fail, move on, no dwelling. Here's the Neat Code 150. I've never heard of this Blind 75, but Neat Code, yeah, that's a Neat Code, neat. It's a resource for getting good at leak code. Connection to Gauntlet, this is the gate. You can't get in without this. RL fundamentals. This is an on-stream project. Q-learning in a grid world. Markov decision process. State actions rewards. Policy pi s equals a. Value function v of s equals expected future reward. This is just dynamic programming. What? Okay, I'm excited to learn whatever the fuck that just meant. Q-learning. I do vaguely know what Q-learning is. Q-table is Q of state action equals expected reward. Update rule is Q of SA equals Q of SA plus A. I gotta figure this out. I don't know what this means. This is why we gotta study. Policy gradients. Instead of a Q-table, use a neural network. Back propagate through the policy. So the thing about that autograd thing, this is the kind of the hard part. The hard part of AI in a world where we just use backprop or not autograd, backprop, stochastic gradient descent. The hard part is really expressing what you want and what you want to do in a way that is differentiable. You have to do the math in a way that autograd actually works. Because if you define a function that has an if in it, that autograd will be like, no, that's not differentiable. Like, what is the differential of f of if? There is none. So you've broken the chain of differentiability. So the hard part of ML these days actually is expressing the problem in a way that's differentiable, that autograd works on. So he's saying, okay, we can do all these decision processes where I have a table of, in this situation, do this, in this situation, do this. He's saying there's a way to make that table in a way that is differentiable so that you can use autograd and gradient descent to optimize your table. So policy gradients, conceptual. Instead of Q-table, use a neural network. Back propagate through the policy. Reinforce algorithm. I don't know what that means. Now read spinning up in deep RL. You'll understand value functions. You'll understand exploration versus exploitation. You'll understand why RL is hard. Connection to Gauntlet. Week 10 is RL environments. You'll be implementing RL agents. This prep means you won't be starting from zero. Practical ML speed skills. Move fast on real projects like the remote trial work. Fast prototyping with real tools. Stream project. Build a RAG system in 2 hours. We kind of did this way back when we did the XCOM wiki RAG, but that was kind of crap. So we're gonna do it again. I guess we're gonna do it kind of from scratch instead of using Llama Index. So yeah, day 1 to 2, document QA with RAG, ingest PDFs, chunk and embed, do vector search on them, LLM generation, time yourself. How fast can you go? I think this part should be pretty easy just because I've done all this before. Add citations and improve retrieval. Hybrid search, re-ranking, citation extraction, practice speed, not perfection, and deploy it. Fast API backend, simple front-end, practice full stack speed. Then, fine-tuning. This is something I really want to do, and I've never had a really good opportunity to do it, so this will be fun. Fine-tuning an LLM. So prepare a data set, format for fine-tuning, split training and evaluation, fine-tune with LoRA. LoRA is a low-rank adapter. Basically, you're only training. It's a thing you can kind of plug into the last steps of the AI process, and it's a powerful and relatively cheap way compared to training the whole thing to fine-tune the output you get from a transformer. Fine-tune with LoRA, use Hugging Face transformers, understand what's happening, and evaluate results. And the final sprint will just be leak code drills, small projects, longer project. Okay. What does that mean? Okay. A multi-agent system, a multimodal system, a coding assistant. Wow. So this would basically be the projects that we do on stream. So that should be all right. And then finally, we do a practice test for the CCAT, which I'm going to do at the end of this stream. And then, yeah. And then this is the actual schedule. So he wants me to get up at, not get up, be up and be streaming at 6 a.m. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens, because this is also prep for Gauntlet, because that is the workload that Gauntlet is going to have me be doing. Well, actually, he's saying 40 hours a week when Gauntlet is 100 hours. So, okay. Well, it's 40 hours on top of my job, so yeah. So 6 to 8, math and ML foundations. 8:30 to 4, I'm actually working. 5 to 7, leak code practice without inviting you guys, I suppose. And then I notice he didn't include a slot for my normal streams, but that's okay. I'll clean up this schedule. We'll see. And okay, he wants me to do projects on Saturdays. That makes sense. And then, yeah. Okay, so yeah. I think we've basically covered what the big announcement is done, so let's just take a little CCAT practice test and see. Because as far as I understand, the CCAT is basically just an IQ test, so I think I should be okay. This is going to be 30 questions, not 30 minutes. Okay, let's take it. We'll have 9 minutes. And then we'll be ready to read Kirsha. That'll be excellent timing. Fill in the missing words. A leading chocolate company recently announced that it has succeeded in creating red chocolate. The company, that no food coloring was involved. Instead, they used a type of cacao bean and a unique manufacturing process. Yep. Insist special. Okay, insist special makes the most sense. Fill in the missing word. Expression that are no longer printing. Recipe for making, I'll zoom in here. Making 18 cookies requires 3/4 cup of sugar. How much sugar would be needed to make 24 cookies using the same recipe? So, I'll need a calculator. Do they give you a calculator when you take the CCAT? I don't know how, if it's online, they can't take it away from me because my computer is a calculator. So, 18 cookies, so, see, 24 minus 18. I really hope I don't screw up this middle school math in front of everybody. Times 3/4. Well, I know you can't really see what I'm doing. 3/4 would be 0.75. So yeah, about 1 cup. The price of a Bluetooth speaker was $120. During the first week of January, its price rose by 20%. After a week, it rose again by another $24. What is the total percentage increase in price for the speaker? So that would be 120 plus 120 times 0.2. That's 24. So it increased by 48. So actually, it's 120 plus 48. Could have just done that in my head. And then What's 168? 120 divide by 168 is 71. That's not right. That isn't right. What did I do wrong? Uh-oh. Yeah, see. It's been a long time since I had to do any of this stuff. What is the percentage increase? Oh. Right. 168 minus 120. I was finding the percentage instead of the percentage increase. So 48 divided by 120 is 0.4, so it's a 40% increase. Oh, so it really is just, okay, well, I could have done that a lot faster. That's why we take practice tests. Choose a pair that is analogous to temperature flame, tornado storm, freeze cold, sea level tide. That makes the most sense, I think. Wind velocity? Nah. Isn't it? Oh, because I'm making silly mistakes. Maybe. Choose a pair that is analogous to house roof. Oh. Choose a pair that is analogous to house roof. Okay. Tree has branches. Roof, no. Window view, neighborhood town. Tree branch, I guess. Choose a pair that is analogous to wheel fender. Screwdriver latch. Rudder mast. Well, they're both boat parts, I think. I guess that's closer. The closest of the available options. How many of the 5 pairs of items listed below are exact duplicates? RH37. Not. Is. Isn't. Is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I'm sure this isn't very interesting to watch, but God, I'm not good at this kind of thing. These are different. These are the same. These are different. These are the same. These are different. I probably should have been counting, huh? Okay, again, practice test. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh boy. These are the same. So, okay, I'll use my hand. So 1. Not. Is. So 2. 3. 3 of them. What fraction of the grid is not covered in black? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's 2 of them covered in total, so 2/3. No, that's not correct. What? Oh yeah, 2. 2 out of 6, which is 1 out of 3. But that's not an option. Oh, not covered. Okay, dipshit. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6. That would be 2 out of 3. Yeah. So I could have just answered that. Which of the following is the opposite of the word covert? Apparent. Curtail. Lengthen. Vacillate. Adhere. Highest value. Ooh boy. Okay. Smallest denominator is this one. Probably 15 out of 50 is probably more. But 17 out of 51 is also probably more. So it's probably that one. What is the next number? 9. This is the shit that's really hard for me. 13, 9, 14, 8, 15. So 13, then 9, 14, then 8. What is the rule? So, okay, it would be presumably a small number. I guess 7. This is the thing, is I overthink. What is the next number in the series? 45, 15, 30, 30. Well, I don't fucking know. I mean, it goes down, then up, then stays the same, then goes down, then up. I kind of want to say 30, but 30 isn't an option. I'm just going to say 40, I guess. I don't see the pattern. 12, 12, 24. 8, 2, 10. This makes no fucking sense. I mean, you are just supposed to guess. I get it. So it does kind of feel like it... Well, it ain't 15... Oh, you mean for the last one. 15 ain't an option. See, are they expecting me to think that it goes back down again? Because there's been 3. You notice that? I don't know. Maybe? I guess I'll go with 4. Okay. Now we're just straight up doing IQ test stuff. I gotta zoom out. Okay. Plus, cross with arrows, rainbow, or arc. Hollow arc, cross with arrows, cross. Cross with filled in arrows, arc, what? I don't fucking know. A filled in guy. Okay, well. 46.67. Your current score is below the population's average, but don't be discouraged. Okay. Well, that was some goddamn bullshit, is what that was. I think that that practice test is probably intentionally harder than the real test. Because I don't think... Because it makes sense, because they would make the practice test harder to sell you the prep, right? It's like, no, dude, you're fucking retarded. You need my course, or else you're gonna fail. I bet I would do better. But I should probably ask Claude about a better practice test. But that's all the time we have for today. I think you've gotten the picture. I think the announcement has gone out. So let me get everything set up to send you guys over to Miss Kirsha. That's the other reason. To a certain extent, you can train for specific, like, you run into diminishing returns after 1 or 2 practice sessions. Okay, we need Kirsha. That's the secret reason that I chose to stream here, so I could raid into her and get farm clout. Except it's not letting me select her as the redirect on YouTube. Is she not up on YouTube? Oh, she might have canceled because she's sick. Oh, yeah. She's not streaming. Well, shit, should I just stream then? Should I just keep going? Probably not. Alright. Well, who can I send you to? Kind of nobody? There's nobody on. It's the middle of the day. There's harmful opinions. Well, Smugglana's on. You guys want to see Smugglana? That's the best option I got. Okay. We'll send you over to Miss Alana. And until next time, goodbye. Smugglana's raid settings do not allow you to raid at this time. Well, fuck me. Okay. I guess no raid. All right. We're just hanging up.